Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante, making Gotham great again. So we talk a lot about on this show about crypto, Bitcoin specifically. And I wanted to, of course, I do Monday nights on Rockfin. I do the late night crypto lounge. And what has been happening, and I one of the reasons I started to become an advocate for Bitcoin specifically, the other altcoins or whatever, why I think people should invest in Bitcoin is because it's the first time in the history of the human race where regular people can amass wealth. And Bitcoin, if you read the white paper on Bitcoin, which was created by Satoshi, who was a person or persons, we don't know who they are. And they basically, some believe they were an NSA cryptographer that really wanted to stop all of this endless wars and nation states and central banks and the corruption of like the Federal Reserve and the IMF and all that. So Bitcoin specifically was created, and I have a Bitcoin playlist. Please watch it. Watch my interview with Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert. I've done numerous conversations with Christy I and Rosie Tran, a couple other folks. So I've been talking about there's a recession coming. And so the last 2 weeks, the stock market and the crypto market has really crashed hard. And what is happening, and I've been warning that this is coming before the pandemic, but when the pandemic and they started doing the CARES Act, when they sent the biggest upward transference of wealth and they gave Wall Street all this money, they gave them free, forgivable loans. You and we got to pay our loans back, right? Wall Street's made out like bandits. We've talked about the 100 new billionaires that were created, the trillions of dollars they've made just in the last 2 years. And a recession is coming, and a sign of a recession that when the ruling class starts selling off their stocks and other assets, gold, and even in crypto in this case, to stockpile cash. It's starting. Dow drops 1,100 points for its biggest decline since 2020 as the sell-off this year on Wall Street intensifies. Okay, this is from May 17th. The crash started about March 8th. So we got gas is $5-6 a gallon, depending on where you live. They say, inflation is 8%. That's nonsense. You and I, when I go to the grocery store, I see 20 to 30% inflation just on my groceries. I'm not buying anything special. I'm just buying basic stuff. You go out to eat. Let's go out to eat. It's always a couple of dollars more and the portions are smaller. And I'm not mad at the restaurants. They're just victims of this whole corrupt system. Markets returned to heavy selling after 2 back-to-back quarterly reports from Target and Walmart stoked investors' fears of rising inflation taking a bite out of corporate profits and consumer demand. Now, I always get this from like these mainstream business like Bloomberg. That's where I get these from. This was from, this is from, I think this is Bloomberg. Yeah. And you got, again, it's still corporate media. They're talking about investors and this and that. They make it just seem like regular Joes on Wall Street. Those guys in the suits, where? This is the ruling class liquidating assets so they have a lot of cash for two reasons. One, they don't want to lose money off of their assets. What the ruling class does, Michael Saylor, Raoul Paul, these guys that I follow that are big crypto advocates now who came up in the traditional Wall Street world. What they do is let's say they buy a bunch of stock or gold. It goes way up in value and they bought it for $1 million. Now it's worth $10 million. They take a line of credit against it. This is how the rich don't pay taxes. They don't have an income. I didn't make any money. I was living off of credit. So let's say you paid $1 million for these stocks. Let's say now they're worth $10 million. You have a $10 million stock portfolio. You get a 20% loan to value line of credit. So you get $2 million. And you can pay yourself, let's say $200,000 for the next 10 years and just slowly pay off that. And you get it. And especially now the interest rates are low, you can probably get that line of credit for 3-4% or something like that. So that's how the rich don't pay taxes, right? So the reason they're selling off now is if that $10,000 or $10 million stock portfolio drops down to 2 or 3 million or even below 2, then there's what's called a margin call, and they got to pay that off. Then they got to pay because it's the asset is worth less. They're basically upside down on the loan. So they don't want that to happen. So they want to have cash. They don't want to. So they're liquidating assets to keep cash. The second, and this is the most important reason they want all this cash, is so when everything crashes, they can buy it up. They did this during the last housing crisis. Everybody, they're going to see all these Americans short selling or facing foreclosure. They're going to come in and buy it up. You ever seen those houses? We'll buy your house. Those are big management companies. Plus, when the economy hits the shitter, the ruling class usually makes out like bandits. They can buy cars for cheap, houses for cheap, TVs, boats, everything's for cheap. You had a delivery business and you got 20 delivery trucks. Now you're underwater. Your business was worth $10 million. You need to sell it for $3 million just to get out from underneath the banks. Rich guy comes in, buys your $3 million delivery business, knowing full well with no more debt and cash on hand, they can build that business up to back to 10 million over the next couple of years. So their 3 million investment becomes a 10. Do you see what they're saying? They're going to buy up all your houses. They're going to buy up everything. That's what this is about. Amazon stock price dropped 7.2%. Best Buy stock price fell 10.5%. Dollar General, Dollar Trees declined 14.4%. Shares of Macy's dropped 10.7%, while shares of Kohl's fell 11%. This is the most staggering number right here. I know it's in small print. More than $7 trillion. This is from CNN Business. Came out May 12th. Has been wiped out from the stock market this year. This is a record, by the way. $7 trillion. That says two things. A recession is coming, and a lot of this $7 trillion is now just in bank accounts in pure cash. The big sell-off of stocks and crypto. You got smart people like Michael Saylor, who's like at MicroStrategy saying, we're keeping all of our Bitcoin. His goal is still the same. I'm going to keep buying Bitcoin. So that's the other thing too. Oh, the markets are crashing. They're deliberately trying to scare out regular investors. Maybe somebody who just, whatever, has 5, 10, 20 grand worth of Bitcoin. They bought it at 10. It went up to 40. Now it's back down to 12. And they're like, I'm selling. So I made 2 grand. They want you to sell. They want you to sell. They want you to sell so they can buy up all these Bitcoins. Because they all know that Bitcoin specifically, not the altcoins, I'm talking just about Bitcoin, because of the way it was designed by Satoshi, if you read the white paper, there is only 21 million Bitcoins that are ever going to be mined. There's only 18 million in circulation. There's an estimated 1 million that have been lost. People who bought them early on when it was just some crazy fad and Bitcoin was at 12 cents or whatever. They lost them. Whatever, you know what I mean? So there's only so many. And they know if there's only a finite amount of something like gold, like diamonds, like silver, like oil, then the less of them there are, the more valuable the wealthy, the ruling class, the hedge funds, all these people are trying to buy up as many full Bitcoins as possible. So they want average investors to get scared and sell it off and need their cash. They're going to tank the economy to force people to sell it off. Regular folks just like you and I, oh shit, I got a little Bitcoin portfolio. I lost my job, or I can't pay my bills, or my hours got cut back. And now with $6 a gallon gas and food prices more, I need cash. So I'm going to sell off my Bitcoin. In comes the big investor. It's the same principle with they want you behind on your mortgage so they can come in and take your house. They're going to do it with your Bitcoin. They're going to do it with your house. They're going to do it with your assets. The NASDAQ has plummeted more than 20% in the last 30 trading days. A drop of that magnitude has only happened 11 times before. 9 of those declines were associated with recessions. You got to read between the lines when they're stacking up the BS this tall. A recession's coming. We're already probably in the middle of it. No one wants to say the R word. And by the time the media and the politicians say it, it's already been happening. It's like a little bit pregnant. That baby's only going to get bigger. So you've been knocked up. America's been knocked up by the recession, folks. And in 9 months, you're going to have a big, healthy, bouncing baby, full-on crash. From layoffs, this is from Business Insider, from layoffs to hiring freezes, here's how companies like Amazon and Walmart are preparing for what could be a seismic shift coming to the economy. This is May 21st. They're preparing. They know it's coming. That's why they've been selling off. And when companies like Amazon and Walmart, who's going to get it? Are the executives going to lose a penny? Nope. Cutting wages, cutting salaries, cutting employee benefits. This is to scare any other Chris Smalls out there from starting more union stuff. They want to scare you. Well, you might just lose your job altogether if you guys come in with that union talk. We know how the ruling class works. So Crypto Casey, a show I watched this show. She just came out with it May 22nd. She talks about stable coins plus more pain to come after Terra Luna and Earth merge. I find her to be very knowledgeable. She follows me on Twitter. Hey, I don't know her personally. Watch this episode of her show and pay attention. If you are in a position to buy some Bitcoin, do it. Get it on a cold wallet. If you don't know what a cold wallet is, go to Crypto Casey. She has a lot of information. Go to bitcoin.com YouTube channel. They have a Bitcoin 101. You can learn all about cold wallet storage. I would get your money out of big banks, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, and get them into either credit unions. I would have some cash on hand. I would have multiple exchanges. I have affiliate codes for Coinbase, BlockFi, and Crypto.com in the comment section below. Have some cash. Have it in a safe, a fire safe, somewhere where it is safe, hence the term. But it's coming, and there's going to be a run on the banks. When you hear the bankers and the media say, there's no need to fear, your money's safe. The minute you hear that, get your money out of there if it isn't already. Like, get it out of there. When you hear this kind of language, you know it's coming. We're already in it. Inflation's bad. The stock market's doing bad. It's coming. It's coming. Be ready. I just want you guys to be prepared. I don't want you to get screwed over. I lost my home 12 years ago, 2010. Yeah, 12 years ago. Because I got screwed over. And I thought, oh, Obama, he'll take care of us. I voted for him. He's better than Bush. No, he wasn't. Wasn't better than Bush. Dropped more bombs than Bush. 6 million people lost their homes in the last housing crisis. 6 million people. I was one of them. So watch out. Watch out. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. Be prepared. Boom.